Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to race number 15 of the Bwoah Racing League Season 4. We're headed to the Temple of Speed, as it's called, the Monza Circuit, the Italian GP of our league. An incredible racetrack, the fastest racetrack off the calendar in real Formula 1 as well as in our league calendar. Yep, we go back to last season's events soon enough, but for now, of course, the infamous Monza track, 3 sectors, the DRS zone, one on the main straight and the other one right before Parabolica, as but a bit of an audio issue. Then again, as I was saying, the Monza circuit, 11 turns and quite a race we are in store. Throwing it back to season 3, we witnessed Rusty Nish taking pole position regardless of this crash during the quali. Of course, a horrendous crash it was. He was in the Ferrari at that point in time. And of course, SB11's pit entry disaster. He crashed into the pit entry. As well as Big Man Joe taking on the 2 drivers in the Haas team. Of course, the Big Man Joe taking on the 2 drivers in the Haas team and pulling off a brilliant move on the main straight in Monza. But question, of course, in everybody's heads is if we will see a Ferrari on top today. Highly unlikely, say the Ferrari boys in our league, but throwing it back again to last season, Rusty Nish, a victory at Monza in the in-game Ferrari car. Of course, he jumped into the VC and celebrated with the iconic Grazie Ragazzi, and today we'll be heading to Monza with hoping for a similar result. I asked Rusty Nish before the race itself if we'll see him on top, probably in the front at least, alongside the likes of General Pepe and RB Ferrero, who consistently been in the front in our races here in the Bwoah Racing League. And he said he's just hoping for a points finish. Now, then again, we've seen individuals play themselves down in the league. So we'll find out soon enough how things unravel. But first off, shock qualifying. The drivers have lobbied up. It's just me jumping on to the spectators. And for the 12 of y'all watching, make sure you drop in the chat and don't just tell me who you're here for. Tell me why you're here for them and if you think they've got a shot at qualifying on pole position. $18 minutes of shock qualifying ahead of a 50% race distance race. Should be quite entertaining to say the least. Rusty Nish having set a lap time even before qualifying ended and having crashed out, as you saw earlier on in the live stream itself, did manage to hold on to that pole position last time around. This time, however, of course, all eyes on General Pepe after a disastrous weekend last race at Spa. He'll be hoping to extend his championship lead because KDB has managed to catch up quite a bit. So it's a proper 3-way battle in the driver's title in the Bwoah Racing League. It's between RB Ferrero, KDB and General Pepe. Of course, I'm sure we'll see UK coming out with his iconic strategy. Should we say strategy or should we call it something else? Because he loves to lay down rubber on the track right before qualifying begins. As soon as qualifying begins, in fact, with the intermediates, just to make sure there's more grip when he comes out on the softs or the mediums, whichever tire he decides to set a fast lap on. And as I said, so UK out on the intermediates, laying down rubber. If you're familiar with the Bwoah Racing League, you'll know this is a regular sight to see. But for those of you joining in new, welcome. I'm Zataxter or Sarthak. I hope you enjoy today's race. The Italian GP of the Bwoah Racing League Season 4. Vex is in the chat. A driver in the Bwoah Racing League stepped away due to issues, and let's leave it at that. But he's got Avi and Thunderbird to look over. It's his team. He's the team principal of the in-game Renault team. Let me just quickly open up chat. You can see what's brewing over there. Got support coming through for Horning in the chat, and my co-commentator Ruds, who couldn't make it today, says I'll make it to pole and also win the race. Hopefully, Ruds, someday. For now, all eyes on the 18 drivers are on track. I'm optimistic, honestly, about Gouts, as I was about to say. We've got Vix356, I think, beached in the gravel into turn 1, if I saw that right. Car number 25, is that Vix356? I presume so. No, it's Gouts, in fact. So that was Gouts. I wonder where Vix356 ended up retiring from qualifying. Probably the earliest retirement in a qualifying session in the Bwoah Racing League till date. This won't be looking all too great for the team. They were hoping for a double points finish in this race. They were pretty realistic with their results going into this race, and Gouts said he does see himself in the top 5 at best. Yeah, Vix356 out of qualifying at Monza. Not the greatest of things, but KDB first one to set a lap time 1 minute 19.415. Just a couple of minutes ago. I remember hearing from Rusty Nish as the Cyrox 24 out on the grass on the straight, on the back straight in sector 3, and Gouts goes a bit off track as well. Aborted his lap ahead of a driver who was setting a fast lap himself. Seto RC18 with the second best lap time. Again, back to what I was saying, Rusty Nish had mentioned how the 1 minute, the drivers are managing to set lap times of 1 minute 20s, where he himself is finding it difficult to do so. Yeah, General Pepe quickly beats that time of KDB's, goes a bit faster, 1 minute 19.271. Everyone on the softs. Apparently, the strategy that will work best is softs to mediums. Then again, we've got a couple of drivers. From what I've heard, Avi will be trying out something completely left field. Probably not that left field, but then again, mediums to softs. But then again, that's just a bit of banter ahead of the race itself, which I caught up on the WhatsApp group last night. And in the chat, we've got the reserve driver of Red Bull, now Alpha Tauri, Gambler as well, and of course Richard Saar showing his support for his team, the Williams boys, Hyrox 24, and who aren't running a second car, so it's just Hyrox 24 to support, and looks like he's gone ahead and disqualified himself off of qualifying as well. So we got 2 retirements in qualifying already. Not a rare sight in the BRL, but then again, in Monza especially, you wouldn't expect such a thing. But Gouts' first lap time gives him 5th fastest overall. SV11 managing to go 3rd fastest. We got Big Man Joe, the only Alfa Romeo car out on track. And of course, Horning and Freeze, I'm hoping for a top 5 qualifying result. The only two drivers having had locked out the front row twice in the league, and both times this season. Accelerate puts himself in the top 5 as well. Great to see Accelerate competitive. It's been a long time coming, to say the least, but alongside SV11 we see a good points finish for the AlphaTauri boys. Sicknig, he's impressing us and himself and everyone on the grid. Race on race. He's managed to set a third fastest lap time, him closing that gap to KDB. You know, being almost as competitive as KDB will surely reap dividends for them in the constructors title fight. They're already leading it, and General Pepe had already exclamated last race that, you know, beating them in the constructors title fight will be quite difficult. General Pepe not having a teammate out on track either. Only Cuppy has joined in, which means Irox 24 and Only Cuppy, both Williams cars out on track. General Pepe on an out lap. Let's stay on board Accelerate, as he's all set to set a lap time for himself as he comes along the Parabolica corner, and he goes into the pits instead. Sicknig right up there, third fastest so far. Avi seems to be having a bit of an issue. Then again, 13 of y'all watching, make sure you drop in the chat who you're here for. Who do you think will come out on top at the end of qualifying? Meanwhile, Druids, if you're watching, it's possibly a ritual here in the comms box that I ask you what your prediction is for the race itself, so you might as well drop it in chat. RB Ferrero, another driver who is in fact, let alone looking competitive in the league. He is in that title fight, probably on the back foot compared to the others. And I mean, General Pepe got this bang on in the 5 lappers they were doing a couple of minutes ago. UK sets the fastest lap time. He's been looking incredibly strong this weekend out. Hopefully, as long as the game doesn't throw a completely left wing issue at him, left field issue at him, he should be good. 1 minute 19.197, closer to that 119 flat lap time. 9 minutes left to shock qualifying. 14 of y'all watching. Who do you think will come out on top? Because right now UK looking competitive might put things into a swirl, won't it? General Pepe, KDB right up there, all in the 119s. Thunderbird and RB Ferrello remain with no lap times as of yet. RB Ferrello, first one out on the mediums as we saw earlier, seems to have gone back into the pits. So we could see the same strategy from all drivers on the grid. Then again, post qualifying, based on their grid positions, I'm sure a couple of them will try something different. Horning betters his lap time, goes 9th fastest. Freeze is currently 4th fastest, his teammate. And KDB is on a fast lap. He goes to that Sky chicane. And ahead, right ahead, is his teammate, Sicknig. One minute 19.205, still the fastest so far. And KDB gives the slipstream for what his teammate needed, exactly what his teammate needed. We did hear hints of both Rocketman and Big Man Joe doing that in Italy, presumably last season, but didn't get to see it. But yeah, the Racing Point boys have done it here today. That bit of slipstream should have helped Sicknick to possibly put himself right behind KDB. Starting on the second row while your teammate starts on the front row is the best case scenario from the perspective of a team. Meanwhile, SU11 going through sector 1, he's on a fast lap himself, looking to close the narrative being that they deserve to be in AlphaTauri and not in Red Bull. Considering their first half of this season, performance based on their first half of the season. Sicknig manages to go fourth fastest. One position jump on the table, or just right under 6 minutes left into shock qualifying, and soon enough we should be getting into the race. Forgive me folks, looks like we have encountered an issue and we'll be right back after solving it. And for once that was quick. Yeah, those of you familiar with this game will know issues such as the one which came up right now again is not too rare of a sight. Looks like the lobby has been glitched. It's finished qualifying for us already. So I'm assuming we will have a restart in qualifying, or I've been thrown out of the lobby. I presume I have. Give me a second folks and we'll be right back with shock qualifying. Ladies and gentlemen, forgive me for the inconvenience, but we are back and we're into the last moments of short qualifying. From what it seems like UK's pole position still remains, I wonder if anyone's managed to beat his time. KDB's General Pepe were right up there right before we got thrown out of the game. So hopefully we'll be back to see a couple of new lap times by the front runners. Yep, right under 1 minute left in short qualifying and we are back. So I'm glad. Sector 1 and 2 go yellow and Gout seems to have possibly gotten wiped out of the track. It does seem like it. But as I pull up lap data all around, UK's pole lap still 6, 1 minute 19.197. KDB's on a fast lap as well. SV11 having invalidated his lap. Sector 2 and 3 go yellow and KDB seems to be slowing down, which means he won't be bettering his lap time. General Pepe sets a 1 minute 18.799. Fastest so far. UK on a fast lap. Can he beat that lap time? Can he get pole position once again? He's gotten it once in season 4 and I wonder if we can repeat that this time around. From what I've heard, his best lap on this track, General Pepe, is 1 minute 18 flat. So clearly that lap could have been better, but it's the best so far. UK is on sector 3, the straight, and he comes around the parabolica. Sector 1 goes yellow as well. UK, can you beat your lap time? Can you put that car on pole position? No, he will not. General Pepe will keep pole. KDB seems to be on a fast lap. Seems to have crossed the line just in the nick of time to start a fast lap himself. So kudos to him. So the battle's still on for pole position. KDB, General Pepe, and Freeze as well is in the mix. So it's General Pepe's lap time's done, 1 minute 18.799. And doesn't seem like he'll be bettering his lap time. He's weaving his way back into the pits, but KDB and Freeze still out on track on fast laps. Yep. For those of you asking for Sicknick's POV, he is done with the lap time, done with qualifying. KDB doesn't better his lap time, which means General Pepe will hold on to pole position at race number 15 of the Italian GP in the Bwoah Racing League. Yep. General Pepe on the front row as always. Not always, perhaps more often than not. UK will start right alongside him. KDB on the second row with Freeze having bettered his lap time will start P4. RB Ferrello and SV11 P5, P6 respectively, and Sicknig will start from P7. Setu RC18 starting P8, Gout starting P9, and Accelerate starting P10. And the rest of the boys, as continued horning, having rather disastrous qualifying. He usually starts in the top 10, will be starting in P12. SV starting from P5 goes to show there's cheers in chat from his very own teammate Gambler. Yep, 18 drivers out on track. Seems like someone's joined in. An uninvited driver. We could possibly see out on track. GG17, whoever that is. Looks like we'll be re-hosting the lobby itself, folks, so we'll be right back once the lobby is up. Alright folks, we're back. The new lobby is up. And for those of you joining in new, General Pepe on pole position, UK alongside of him. And since we've got a couple of supporters of SU11, he'll be starting in P5. Horning will be starting in P12. Noticed a couple of his friends as well. Because Sicknig will be starting P7 if my memory serves me right. So yeah, the boys are lobbying up as we speak. It's going to be a 50% race distance race. Probably lead up to 45 minutes of race time. We'll see soon enough. select car KDB. We're good to go. This is when drivers have time to decide on their setups. Of course, they've got custom setups already, but based on conditions as well as the race start itself, track specific setups will be chosen, and if I'm not wrong, top 10 will be on the soft tires. Yep, first off we'll have the formation lap ahead of the race itself. Presume so. Yes, we will. Yep, tires come on. Looks like Horning, Avi, Only Kapi, Rusty Nish and Big Man Joe will be starting on the medium tires. Yeah, all eyes on General Pepe as he starts on the front, at the front of the pack. Yes, we do review incidents during the formation lap. So High Rush 24 and Vix 356, both drivers having disqualified from the formation lap. It will be taken a look at, but it doesn't change anything for the race itself. They'll just be reset on the grid as the rest of the drivers have time to warm up their tires. Rusty Nish as well. A lot of folks in the chat for Horning and for the likes of Sicknig as well. This is unusual. It's started KDB at the back of the pack. Wonder why that is. Got Gambler in the chat predicting a possible Zvinala going into turn 1, I presume, or in the formation lap. Were you referring to that, Gambler? Looks like the pack is being pushed together quite a bit by Pepe and the likes of the front runners. I wonder if KDB starting from the back of the pack is a game issue or something else. Yep, looks like we will have another restart of the lobby, folks. So stay with us, considering KDB is put in the wrong position by the game and not by any one of us. Yep, the game keeps throwing us right hooks every now and then. Second restart we've had in this race. Thankfully it's a lobby restart. I guess you could compare a lobby restart close to a real race restart, in this case at least. Yeah, looks like this new lobby is up and good to go. We should be there soon enough. Drivers are lobbying up as we speak. I'm in. We're just waiting for the rest. KDB and VX356 are in as well. Supreme Leader with the GG in the chat. Makes sense. I think we can all drop GGs to this game and move on to F1 2021 soon enough. And hopefully with EA coming in and picking up Codemasters, there should be some sort of change with issues such as this one. It's lights out and away we restart indeed, prof. What a mess. Yep, Pawning. I can imagine how it feels being a driver as well. You know, you're probably not on the edge of your seat like some of us are watching the race, including myself, but at least I'm pretty sure y'all are in a mindset of probably starting and getting to turn 1. That'll be quite the debacle if everyone, as long as everyone keeps it clean now, it won't be a debacle. We won't have any kind of an issue. But then again, will everyone keep it clean is the question. But yeah, the last couple of drivers coming into the lobby, and we'll be good to go soon enough. In the recent couple of races, however, everyone have been clean. Let's hope for the same. Lap 1's been relatively clean compared to last season, I must say. So I think Ruds, if he's watching, he'll agree with me. And the likes of Vex as well as Ashwin, who's the Supreme Leader, raced in the Bwoah Racing League last season, and a couple of races this season as well will relate to it as well. Agree with me. Now it has been clean relatively in lap 1. And yep, the drivers are requesting General Pepe to make sure it's a faster formation lap rather than him taking his own sweet time. I mean, it's fair, he can, but then again, I'm pretty sure everybody is edging to begin the race. Yep, laughs in chat, in the private chat amongst the drivers. With 18 drivers in the lobby, looks like we're good to go. Doing the restart will take longer than the race itself, perhaps. Let's hope not. I'd really like the race to be longer. I'm sure you all do too. Races are clean because Gabler is not participating. I've seen you race a relatively clean race, Gabler. I think Baku, that was your first points finish, but sadly not with your Alpha Tauri or Red Bull boys. With the Williams boys, in fact. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah. China was your first points? Clearly, I've not been paying attention. Unless you have gotten those points after post-race penalties, then fair enough. Because I step away from BRL for a bit after the race itself. I get to other work, but regardless, that's not the topic in conversation for today. It's the Italian GP of the Bwoah Racing League Season 4, and the drivers are all readied up. The race is set to begin. Of course, we will have a bit of a moment before we start the formation lap, and the drivers do get to select their setups, choose their custom setups, and they'll be good to go. 15 of y'all who waited patiently for the race to begin, thank you so much. Look at that, 15 people watching race number 15. Yep, folks, we're in. So enough. We'll see the drivers out on their formation lap. Setu RC18 out on track as well alongside his teammate UK, but won't be starting alongside him, however. We've seen them work as a team effectively last season. This season, however, Setu RC18 hasn't been able to show up for all the races, so probably we've not gotten to see them perform as a team as effectively as we did last season around. Yep, like we saw with Sicknig and KDB, them giving slipstream to one another. Teamwork makes the dream work in the BRL, anywhere for that matter. As UK gets readied up, the rest of the boys ready up as well. Soon enough, we'll be starting with the formation lap ahead of the 50% race distance race at Monza, race number 15. Nothing's changed with tire selection from the drivers. Got all the stats out for everybody, and of course the team principals who are watching along and in the ears of the drivers. Those of you wondering why the drivers are weaving out on track, they're trying to warm their tires ahead of the race for better grip when the race starts. Yeah, the predicted strategies on your screens, soft to medium or soft to hard. I wonder who will pick what. But then again, I'm pretty sure those strategies go right out the window if there's a safety car in play. At least the timing at which the drivers decide to pit will. And also depends, it also depends when the safety car comes out. A lot of, a bit of the car coming off. And I wonder if it's Gautz's as Thunderbird goes onto the grass a bit. Gauts starts P9, unfortunately. Big Man Joe down in P16. Mind you, General Pepe, if he does end up winning this race, he will level with Big Man Joe in all-time race wins in the league. Of course, statistics have been recorded since the start of Bwoah Racing League Season 3. So yep, he'll be equaling that 7-win race win record in the league. KDB as well. If he ends up winning this race, he equals Big Man Joe. Yeah, who knows, Big Man Joe sets himself a new record today. Making that climb all the way from P16. Anything's possible as the drivers line up onto the grid. General Pepe, of course, the first one, will take the first grid box. UK and KDB messing about. This is where things get quiet, awfully quiet. All the drivers in their heads get ready for quite the race ahead. Reduced damage is what it's set at, Devansh, since you were curious. But nope, not simulation damage. I think that would, with the amount of glitches this game throws at us in the Bwoah Racing League, it'll supposed to be quite an issue, to say the least. Yep, the fire lights will go out soon enough and the drivers will be set to go. I think I saw a jump start there by SV11. Yes, I did. And SV11 will get a drive-through penalty for that. What a start UK got, and so did the Red Bull behind three-way into turn 1. And right there, UK takes the race lead away from General Pepe. Behind, KDB is going wheel to wheel with his title contender RB Ferrero. Meanwhile, at the back of the pack, it's chaos. 65-6, Rusty Nish goes down the order. 65-6 goes wheel to wheel with only Kapi. Up ahead, it's a battle on their own. UK and General Pepe go wheel to wheel as they enter into sector 2. UK gets pushed off quite a bit. KDB goes into the gravel and RB Ferrero is the one to reap dividends out of the two drivers' mishaps. RB Ferrero up in a P2 already. What a start that was. I'm astounded by Freeze keeping it in P4 so far, because KDB tumbles down the order into P8. Big Man Joe, however, what a start he's had. He's up in a P10 all the way from P16. Horning is up in a P9 as well. Meanwhile, KDB trying to take that fight too. The drivers in front accelerate. The first one up ahead sticks to his gearbox, gets the slipstream he needs, pulls to the left and gets it done. Next up is Sicknig. Should be easy considering it's his teammate. I'm pretty sure he'll be led by easily. Setu RC18 making it difficult for Sicknig up ahead, however. Meanwhile, that gap in front, UK taking that fight to RB Ferrero seems to have glitched. General Pepe goes fastest. But yeah, as we see on our screens, RB Ferrero and UK are going wheel to wheel. But yeah, it says UK stumbling down the order at this point. I don't know who to blame. Setu RC18 on the up in a P3, Sicknig and KDB in P4 and P5. And I wonder if UK is pulling his hair at this moment, because the game has been unfair to him once again. For those of you wondering why the table is glitching, well, that's how the game is for now. But yeah, KDB tries to peek around the outside. Seems like they're going wheel to wheel and actually racing the two teammates. But with an AlphaTauri close behind, I'm pretty sure Sicknig will let by KDB just to make sure he can hold up, accelerate. for that much longer. Up ahead, however, General Pepe leads this race. Ignore the SV11 leading this race pop up on your left hand side of the screen. Seems like SV11 and the Italian GP in the Bwoah Racing League seems to have some sort of an arrangement. Last season as well, there was a glitch which showed SV11 leading this race. Seems like Horning has gotten the move done on Accelerate and goes up into P9 as KDB gets it done on Setu RC18 ahead of this on the main straight. Yep. Horning alongside Accelerate, both alongside each other. Yep, he will lock up the front right Horning. Big man Joe peeking around the outside as well as Accelerate tries to pull away from the lot. Up ahead, Sicknick closing that gap on Setu RC18. What 3 laps it's been. We saw UK take the race lead, and after the glitch, he still is running P2. So clearly it's a glitch on our sides, folks. Yeah, great to see him running P2. RB Ferrero, however, will peek down the insides, decides to stay on the tail of Freeze, however, and will stay on his tail until he's got just enough slipstream and the ERS he needs to pull off an overtake. Support coming through for Gouts in the chat, who's running P11 currently. Let's quickly switch. Let's stay on RB Ferrero because it seems like he could pull off an audacious move going into turn 1. Freeze weaving to the right just to make sure RB Ferrero doesn't have the slipstream he might need going into turn 1, and denying that slipstream made it work. Freeze will hold on to that position for now. Not for long, surely enough. Around the outside, RB Ferrero should get done. Wheel to wheel, they go through sector 1. Freeze and RB Ferrero. He's looking for a gap he can hold on to. Peek down the outside possibly, but no, RB Ferrero has pulled away. And now Freeze has KDB to worry about. Not for long. KDB makes that position jump and is up in a P4 already. He's losing 2 positions in a matter of a sector. Not too great. Yep. Title contenders now fight for position on the Italian GP track. Monza. Accelerate tumbling down the order. Wonder what's wrong there. And yep, he looks like he has spun right after Ascari. Ascari taking Alpha Tauri this time around. P15. He stumbled down all the way to P15. Sector 3 went yellow. And yep, KDB gets the move done on the main straight on RB Ferrero. Turn 1 should be convenient for him. Next up is his good friend UK as Thunderbird gets slapped with a 3-second time penalty. So right now, 5 laps after, as you see it, Big Man Joe making that climb from P16 all the way to P8. Rusty Nish finds himself at the bottom of the pack. So does SV11. So unfortunate starts for both Rusty Nish and SV11. 2 drivers out on track having racked up time penalties, Thunderbird and Rusty Nish, currently running P16 and P17. So yep, they aren't in the front, so positions aren't at stake yet. But again, 5 laps up only, so a lot to come. Gaps, however, closing is definitely one particular one. Gouts. We saw Gouts and Horning practice quite a bit last night ahead of the race. And right now, they'll be going wheel to wheel soon enough, I'm sure. Sicknick taking the fight to Setu RC18 as his teammate takes the fight to the other McLaren in front. Yep, looking at Sicknick's pace, how he's done in qualifying, and right now how he's doing going alongside Setu RC18, wheel to wheel, gets it done on the main street, pretty much textbook at Monza. Sicknick will go up into P6. Sector 3 goes yellow, and we've got a retirement. Thunderbird seems to have retired out on track. I wonder what could have happened. Let's stick on to SV11, and we could possibly see him missed it while being on board Rusty Nish. Both drivers, Rusty Nish and SV11, along with Thunderbird, who was on the hard tires. Yep, right after Ascari, on the exit of Ascari as well. It seems that Thunderbird has retired. Can we get a glimpse of the Renault? Doesn't seem like we can. Yep, unfortunate retirement. The first retirement of the race itself ends up being the Renault. Not too great as Vex looks ahead. Doesn't help the constructors title fight, that's for sure. General Pepe leads this race. That gap to UK was just 1.5 seconds to begin with, right after their wheel-to-wheel battles in lap 1 and 2. However, right now, UK seems to be vulnerable and is losing position to KDB as they go wheel-to-wheel into turn 1. KDB locks up his front right. UK still has a shot to defend his position, but not for long. He will have to give that space. KDB will hold on to that position and climbs up in a P2 after tumbling down to P9, I presume, in the first couple of laps. Next up is General Pepe, but that 3-second gap could cost KDB quite a bit. 7 laps up, 20 laps to go, and UK has lost a position. The driver who seemed to have snatched that race lead in the first lap is now running P3. I'm sure he's glad he's running P3 instead of down in P10 or P11. Meanwhile, in the midfield, Horning, Guts and Big Man Joe in the top 10. So they are running in points positions. They'll be looking to hold on to these positions at the latter half of this race. Big Man Joe, what a comeback. He's made P16 all the way to P8. And he'll be looking to make more as 19 laps are left into this race. Vex says Gouts for the win. Him running P9 isn't really great, or let alone a position that could possibly contend for the win. But then again, with the possibility of a safety car soon enough, I'd wonder if that's still on the cards. UK trying to keep that gap within half a second of KDB, just to make sure when KDB slips, he's right there to take back his position of P2. Meanwhile, RB Ferrello has fallen back incredibly. His gap has extended to way over 3 seconds. So he'll be looking for bigger mistakes by the front runners, or possibly getting a position on the pit stop. Find out soon enough. Meanwhile, Horning, closest driver to another, who is Guts in fact. Locks up his left rear tire, and looks like we've got quite the train. Setu RC18 making that move up ahead on Sicknig, and I wonder, Sicknig falling, is there an issue that we can't see, because he's lost 3 positions on that straight alone? That's highly unusual of Sicknig. As he goes into the pits, I just wonder if he had quite the issue. But then again, up ahead, Avi and Horning on the main straight. Can we see a textbook move once again? So, Horning trying his best to make sure Avi finds it incredibly difficult, and yep, he could have just pushed Avi off track, I wonder, or that could have just been a fair bit of defending from Horning's side. Regardless, Avi will hold on to P10 and will not get that P9 he was hoping for. Up ahead, Gouts trying to take that fight to Big Man Joe, as he himself is doing the same on Setu RC18. Going back to the front of the pack, General Pepe and KDB's gap still looks like a solid gap, 3.3 seconds, and with KDB having racked up a penalty and every driver thereafter up until Big Man Joe having racked up a penalty. Right now it looks as though General Pepe is looking at a possible 7th victory in the league. But again, it's me saying things too early on lap number 10. Big Man Joe seems to be as close as possible on the main straight, because the brilliant part of the track to make a move on arrival. And as we saw earlier on into this stream itself, Big Man Joe made that move on both Setu RC18 and UK last season. This time around it was just Setu RC18. This time around Avi is close enough as UK gets a 3-second time penalty, and Accelerate seems to have retired from the session as Sector 3 goes yellow. He seems to have voluntarily retired in the pits. Avi loses traction in that corner, and yep, as he went through Lesmo, lost a bit of traction, lost his rear, and lost a bit of time to Horning once again. Horning locks up the front left. Not too great when you got Avi breathing down your throat. Horning loses it massively as he comes out of Ascari, and he loses the position to Avi. Will try and take slipstream and hope for a move, a possible move on the main straight right after Parabolica, but Avi looks like he's that much quicker than Horning as he comes along Parabolica, and on the main straight Horning's too far off. The most he can do is hope to close that gap. RB Ferrello and KDB have gone into the pit, and General Pepe still leads this race. Avi locks up this time around on the front right. Horning will be grinning. He's closer than ever, within half a second, but Avi's been within half a second of Horning for possibly 3 laps before he was able to make that move stick and go up 1 position. Meanwhile, KDP has come out at P9 and RB Ferrello in P11, both on the fresh set of mediums. Only Kapi racks up a 3-second time penalty, running P10. And as always, or more often than not, a lot of positions will be decided after post-race penalties, evidently. Lap number 11, Setu RC18 loses his rear, goes off track quite a bit. Gouts gets the slipstream he needs, he pulls to the left, but Avi's pulling to the left as well. I wonder if Avi can pull off something incredible here. No, he locks up his front right instead and ends up losing a position to Horning. Puts Horning in a brilliant spot to be as he picks up slipstream from Gouts, who is entering the pits, and will get all the more slipstream he needs. Has DRS as well on Setu RC18. I wonder if he'll be audacious enough to dive down the inside. He will hold back. I'd hold back Horning, and yes, he does. Sticks to the gearbox, and I'm pretty sure at the end of this lap he should have a position soon enough. Unfortunate for Avi that he looked incredible being on the tail of Gouts, but I just wonder if dirty air came into play, because it seemed like Avi lost a bit of momentum that he had going right behind Gouts and Setu RC18. But we've got 2 retirements so far in this race, Thunderbird and Accelerate. And we see Avi right behind Horning once again. This time around, going into Ascari, he peeks down the inside, should have the momentum he needs. Horning locks up the front left, gives him just enough space, but Avi makes that stick through Ascari. He should have the position. No, he does not. Horning around the outside, racks up a 3-second time penalty in the process, but in vain, however, as Avi holds on to that position of P3 for now. Right behind General Pepe, looking at these two go head to head, is smiling, I'm sure, sitting in front of his wheel as Setu RC18 goes into the pits, gets the slipstream he needs. Last time around it was Big Man Joe on Setu RC18 and UK. This time around it's possibly Pepe on Avi and Horning as he peeks around the outside, locks up the front right, couldn't even get a position out of it, so clearly no parallels can be drawn between the two instances, but he gets Horning right after turn 1. After turn 2, in fact, will get the slipstream on Avi, and around the outside, Avi will be cautious on knowing who he is going wheel to wheel with. General Pepe makes it difficult. Sector 3 goes yellow, and Pepe is up into P2. I wonder why that yellow got triggered, because we had a bit of a glitch on our screens as well. Wonder which one of the back markers. I assume it's one of the Williams who triggered that yellow flag. But yeah, let's stay on General Pepe as he tries to close that gap to Big Man Joe. Of course, remember folks, Big Man Joe yet to pit, still has that huge 5-second gap to Pepe. Him and only Kapi are the only ones on the mediums, which are 12 laps old. And then I noticed that both Avi and Horning are on 12 lap old mediums as well. Irax 24 with a disconnection. And close gaps in the midfield, Setoashi 18 and Sikning as they come along the main straight. And look at that time reducing, that gap reducing between General Pepe and Big Man Joe. But regardless of the pit stop, but looks like there's an incident. KDB slows down quite a bit. He must have lost it going into a particular corner, because the sector went yellow as well. But yeah, he's losing time to a close rival, RB Ferrello. Sector 2 goes yellow. Unusual, but yep, it's Avi. It's Avi. He spun at the exit of Ascari. We saw him take it bravely a couple of laps ago. This time he's messed it up. Fortunate of Avi. As Horning will move for sector 1, 2 and 3 go yellow, it says, but I'm pretty sure that's a glitch. 4-second gap at the beginning of lap number 14 is now a 2.5 second gap. General Pepe, I mean, what is he on? Fresh set of tires, that's for sure, but he's closing that gap like a champ. And we've lost all gap intervals, and folks, stay with us, because it seems like Avi has gone into the pits for a new set of tires, and it will be the softs. Meanwhile, Big Man Joe still out on track, just like Horning. So the two Roadrunner Racing boys are on track with 14 lap old tires. Avi's managed to come out in P12, right behind Vixie 56. Possibly not right behind. He's got a 9-second gap to make up for. Gauss running a steady P8. A points finish, a double points finish is what they're hoping for, the Ferrari boys. Vixie 56 is close, but not close enough, I'd say. He'd want to be running in the top 10 already, just to ensure, regardless of a possible safety car in the latter half of the race, he will get a points finish. Big Man Joe finally decides to pit. Horning, however, staying out. Big Man Joe will come out on the softs. General Pepe retakes the race lead as UK trails right behind. Maunav asks what the pole time was. Go ahead for the specific pole time. You can pull the seek all the way to qualifying, but it was in the 1 minute 18s set by General Pepe. UK managed to set a 1 minute 18 18s as well, in the 1 minute 18s as well. but unfortunately not as fast as General Pepe. Sector 2 goes yellow, and Setu RC18 seems to have retired from the session. Now third retirement from this race. Oh my god, look at that car. I can't believe it. The front left is off the car. That's a nasty crash he's had in Sector 2. Virtual safety car it is. And Horning pits with a smile, I'm sure. Comes out on the front. Yep, look at that. That's Setu RC18 right before it got cleared automatically by the game. Virtual safety car. Setu RC18's incident gets cleared. Horning pits and comes out, I presume, in P8, right ahead of his teammate, who has pit himself. Avi has retired from the session under virtual safety car. Now what is happening out there? He seems to have retired voluntarily in the pits. That's how it seems like. Oh, we got another retirement just like that, folks. He's in the pits and he has retired. Both the Renaults out of this race. Sector 1 goes yellow, and I see there's, of course, due to an issue in the game, the Renault is out on track. Chaos to say the least, but UK comes along the Parabolica and lap number 18 runs P2 as KDB just under 1.5 seconds off him. KDB going to the right hand side of the track. I wonder, almost lost a bit of traction on the main straight. Doesn't really help his cause, locks up the front right as well. This is playing into the hands. I mean, if KDB continues to make mistakes like that, RB Ferrero is definitely going to catch up to him. Corvix 356 closing in on Racinish. We have 4 retirements in this race already. So, nasty crash for Setu RC18. Accelerate having spun went into the pits. Voluntary retirement from him. Thunderbird spun on track. Avi, no voluntary retirement it seems. Slipstream he gets from Racinish. Vix 356 around the outside he goes. Racinish trying to make it just a bit difficult for Vix 356 going into turn 1. Blocks him off, and well done to Rusty. He holds on to that position, but clearly that was a bit sketchy. Gives Vix 356 his position rightfully earned. I was going to mention with Vix 356 going so slow, I'm pretty sure in the comms he's going, Rusty, what have you done? Good on Rusty. Gave that position back to Vix 356. For those of you wondering why he would do something like that, well, just to ensure he doesn't get slapped with post-race penalties or possibly penalty points, which is something you wouldn't want to rack up. It'll make sure you get a quali ban with more penalty points incurred. Big Man Joe set the fastest lap time. He's running P5. P16 all the way to P5, Big Man Joe. And Horning running in P8 right ahead of Freeze. Up ahead, KDB has closed that gap to UK as they come along sector 3. I think main straight is the place where KDB will attempt a possible move. Oh, loses his rear, goes off track as well. He's lucky he didn't get thrown into that gravel because things would have unraveled quite differently, but somehow brings it back on track. He doesn't have the gap he had earlier on, gets the slipstream he needs, weaves to the left, tries to peek along the outside. I don't think he can get it done, takes too much of the curb and will have to stick to P3. I mean, that was scary enough for me, let alone KDB. That was almost his race end right there. Somehow managed to make sure it didn't go on to the gravel as Horning tries the late brake move on Gouts. Locked up all 4 tires. It seemed like it. Will have to stick to P8. That would have cost him quite a bit, at least on tire life. Three-second time penalty for General Pepe. Now this is interesting, isn't it? He's the race leader, and that gap to UK is just over 6.5 seconds. And with KDB steaming like the way he is, trying to get that position from UK, I'm pretty sure you'd want to extend that gap even more, General Pepe. Mainstay once again. Clearly KDB doesn't have that much of pace to make the move stick. UK continues to run in P2 with a hungry for position KDB right behind. Yep, looks like UK has made a mistake, giving KDB the opportunity he needs. Down the inside he peaks, decides to brake as UK. Brilliant stuff, brilliant late brake, I must say. But as these two tussle on, General Pepe, glad about it, leads this race with 6 laps to go. So that penalty won't even be a scratch on him. KDB tries again around the outside, wheel to wheel. There goes sector 2, and this time he'll make it stick as they go through Ascari. KDB up into P2, and UK will go down to P3. A podium in sights for UK, but he'd want a better finishing position, I'm sure. Meanwhile, down the order, Horning on the tail of Gouts. Yet again, he locked up on turn 1 last lap. He'll keep it close enough to Gouts to ensure he has a bit of momentum, bit of pace that he needs on the main straight to get the move done. He's got the ERS for it as well. As they come along the Parabolica, Gouts will weave to the right just to ensure he doesn't get the slipstream he needs. He's got DRS, he's got slipstream, textbook from Horning, gets the move done. Should be able to. With Gouts nowhere in sight, going into turn 1, locks up the front left. We'll get the move done. Up into P7, Horning, after quite the battle with Gouts for a while. Wex predicts BMJ for P2, let's go. And he's referencing to the penalties racked up by the drivers ahead of him. If he can keep it well within, as through Ascari this time around, UK gets the move done on KDB. Well, that's a shocker I didn't see coming. But KDB is still close behind. On the tail of UK as they go through Parabolica. And on the main straight this time around, I highly doubt if KDB can make sure the move gets done, because UK will give him the slipstream. He clearly didn't weave to the right, but down the inside this time around, KDB, audacious to say the least, locks up the front right as any driver would, and UK holds on wheel to wheel through turn 2 and through sector 1. UK will try to get slipstream. It's going to be a to and fro process between these two guys. And KDB will hold on for another corner or two. Three-second time penalty for RB Ferrero. More time penalties the front runners rack up, the better the race result for big man Joe, who's close behind. Meanwhile, Horning closing in on Sicknig. Looks like the racing points are under pressure. Both the racing points, in fact. And yep, UK gets the move done ahead of Ascari this time around. KDB sticks to the gearbox of UK. Will have slipstream. Pulls to the left. So trying to look for a gap, doesn't find it. Horning doing the same, I'm sure, as 3-second time penalty for only copy. SV11 goes into the pits. Gets the slipstream he needs down the inside once again, but he's got the lead already going into turn 1. So this should be good for KDB. Will make it stick this time around, regardless of locking up any tire. He will hold on to P2, but that exit in turn 2 looked a bit worse compared to UK's. So the battle continues in the front. Looking for a gap, similar to how Lewis Hamilton looked for a gap from Charles Leclerc in Monza 2019. And seems like UK has lost a bit of time on KDB as sector 1 goes yellow, and I wonder, Horning has made the move stick on Sicknick, but Sicknick close behind, just like KDB was on UK. Meanwhile, at the back of the pack, SV11 trying to close that gap to only copy. Seems like he's doing a great job overall, and will get the position jump as well. He's up in a P13, SV11. Only copy trying to take the fight to SV11, get that position back, but not anytime soon as they go through Ascari. And yeah, that gap between UK and KDB has extended over a second, so clearly we won't see them going wheel to wheel anytime soon. The 2 laps left into the race itself. Let's pull up penalties. 8-second in time penalties KDB has managed to rack up, 11 seconds in time penalties UK, and 6 seconds in time penalties for RB Ferrello. Now if my calculations are right, Big Man Joe could possibly see himself be on the podium. Sector 3 lights up yellow. Looks like it's an issue for General Pepe as KDB takes the race lead. As we analyze race time penalties, what happened for General Pepe? I wonder if he spun on Ascari on lap number 25. This has closed the biggest gap in the front, and this has put the whole podium into a mix, because UK is within a second of General Pepe, and General Pepe is within a second of KDB. Meanwhile, RB Ferrello has racked up 6 seconds in time penalties. Big Man Joe, no time penalties, and 6 seconds off of RB Ferrello. In a spectacular turn of events, KDB leads this race. On lap number 25, clearly a mistake cost General Pepe everything. But then again, 3-second time penalty only as General Pepe goes off track. He has damage. He's gone into the gravel. Is the end of the race for him? He's lost an end plate on the front wing. He's trying to nurse that car back through the finish. He's trying to nurse that car across the finish line at this point in time. He just wants a points finish, I'm sure. Big Man Joe running P5. I just wonder is all that I can say, because KDB with an 8-second time penalty, UK with a 14-second time penalty, and RB Ferrello running within a second of UK with 6 seconds. General Pepe trying to hold on in P4. Lap number 27 begins, folks. It's the final lap, and what more will we see in this race? The last couple of laps in this race has been absolute pandemonium. RB Ferrello looks like he's in the most promising position out of the bunch. He just needs to extend that gap between him and Pepe all the more. So it'll be more push for the final lap. I'm not gonna predict anything. Big Man Joe has closed that gap, tried to close that gap as much as possible, but it's gone over 1.5 seconds to General Pepe. I just wonder who will be on top. KDB, he's got an 8-second time penalty, leads this race, 2-second gap to his closest competitor, who's UK. But then again, in a realistic view, it's RB Ferrello who's his closest competitor, who's closing in on UK on the final lap. Regardless of time penalties, he wants P2 on track. He's closing in, but across the finish line, it does look like KDB will come across first, but definitely not as a race winner, because the time penalty is in play, and Big Man Joe closing in on General Pepe on the last lap on the straight. A long parabolica comes. General Pepe has to go wide. He does not have an end plate. He goes off track. Big Man Joe up in a P4. It does say after penalties, KDB holds on to the race win. RB Ferrero P2 and Big Man Joe finishes P3. Pepe, that lap 25 incident cost him. It cost him everything. UK after penalties, P5. Horning, what a climb he's done. P7, he will be finishing P8. Okay, after time penalties, clearly not a climb, I'd say, but into the points, which is fair enough. Great job by Horning. And Gouts finishes P7. That points finish as he wanted. Sicknig finishing in the points means a good points haul for the Racing Point team. What a race. What brilliant 2 laps at the end. BMJ. What BMJ in P2 from P16 to P2. And if he's not driver of the day, I don't know who is. And rightfully so, he is. It's Big Man Joe, driver of the day. KDB wins this race. It's his 7th race win in the league. Statistics gathered since the start of season 3. And yep, he equals the driver of the day in all-time race wins. It's Big Man Joe and KDB both with 7 race wins in the league. And yep, KDB on the top step of the podium. Big Man Joe P3. Forgive me for the mistake. I say P2. So P16 all the way to P3. RB Ferrello, mighty job by him as well. The driver's title fight continues as General Pepe hasn't extended his lead, but managed to give in after that mistake to his title contenders. I'm finding it difficult to catch words at this point, but RB Ferrero and KDB look awfully close right now to contending for that driver's title. What the rest of the races hold for us, only time will tell. But what a race we've had today. 13 of y'all who stayed with us till the very end, thank you very much. I think we might just get kicked out of the game, and yep, we duly did. Forgive us for the issues that unraveled right before the race. But yep, 13 of y'all who stayed till the very end, thank you once again. We'll see you again next weekend for race number 16. Make sure you follow our socials, which is in the description, for more updates along the week. And of course, clips from the race will be posted on Instagram as well as our Twitter handle. Cheers.